in horizontal settings to get this to work. So, anyways, what you guys see here on screen is Windows Media Player, and I've been working on a way to catalog my music and have it ripped in FLAC. So, as you notice, some of the CDs do have artwork. Other CDs do not have artwork. So, it's a hit and miss with Windows Media Player. So if you go here in the folders, you will notice that some of the CDs do have artwork. So, like I said, it's a hit and miss, and it's not going to show up for everything. But as long as the metadata is right, there shouldn't be any issues. I mean, as far as that goes. But this is Windows Media Player in Windows 11, if you guys are wondering. But I got a stack of CDs right here, and the stack of CDs I do have are right here. And like I said, there isn't going to be much of any, should I say, artwork for a lot of these CDs. And the CD is slightly scratched, but it's not a big deal, as if anything. So let's just go over here and get this out of the way. I'm pretty sure I'm live. I just haven't checked out my specific live video here. Okay, yeah. All right, so I can yeah. Got it. Blah blah blah. Okay. Go back in here. Windows Media Player, and I can rip. So if you're going to use some ripping software in Windows, I would recommend using Windows Media Player, because the rip will be pretty much good in a way. So you're not having to worry about any dropouts or anything like that during ripping. So I'm using an Asus DVD drive for this process. So if you're wondering what the DVD drive looks like, and I'll show you, that's what it looks like down there. I use this drive for ripping, and the camera's going in and out of focus because it's trying to focus on that green LED. So there you go. So I do have a lot of CDs, and there's more down on the bottom. And then I have the big John Lennon anthology box set, which is 4 CDs, and it's an adventure to rip, let me tell you. But then you have all this. I have quite a few Elton John CDs, and then I have the Empire Records soundtrack, Jock Jams, you name it, I pretty much got it. Now that's what I call music series. This is pretty much what I have now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't have 8. I have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 18. Up here I have 19, 20, 23, 26, 27, 28, 29, 31, now 35, now 40, now 53, and now that's what I call Country 5. And I have some Van Halen, Sarah McLachlan, Cher. And if we go up more, you might be able to see some Tesla, and then Hanson, and all the way down Crowded House, Martina McBride, and pretty much all this. And then I got my digipacks and stuff up there. So there you go. Got all the digipacks. One digipack is kind of, I would say, in bad shape. So yeah, there's that. And then that, like I said, all this down here and stuff like that. And then plus the CDs I got getting ripped. I got a brand new one a few days ago, or should I say last week, or whatever you want to call it. One Republic's Native. I got this brand new. So there you go. There's a brand new CD for you guys. It just kind of worked it in with the live stream here. So we're gonna take this disc out, which is Coldplay's Live 2003. Sorry about this. I'm trying to look straight into the camera at the same time. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to take out Phil Collins, which is the album Hello, I Must Be Going. And then looking at the disc, it looks fine. So I'm going to place that in the drive. Close the drive. Go over here to Windows Media Player. It's going to end up playing it anyways. I've only played a couple of seconds of that. Now we're going to go over here and rip. And then, like I said, all these are ripped in 950 kilobytes per second, which is FLAC. And they sound pretty good when they're ripped, that is. So, and if you guys are wondering, yes, Windows Media Player is like the oldest bit of software that's in Windows today. Being that this is Windows 11, Windows Media Player still works. So, like I said, I would highly recommend it. Also, I didn't show you guys the CDs that are down here, which is hard to get open sometimes. So I have more CDs down here. So there's the other group of CDs. And yes, I do have the original A Very Special Christmas. I got Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, and the live in Washington, D.C. And then I have some more Elton John, the Venga Boys, We Like to Party, the Party album. We do have some Jeff Foxworthy games Rednecks Play. Pretty much a Club Mix 2000 CD. I have quite a bit of stuff in here. So, Genesis, self-titled, the Black Eyed Peas, Ella Funk. So, there's that. So got that pretty much in there. All right, so we're going to go back over here, and then I'll show you guys the other two drawers down there under the mini fridge. So, yeah. So it's just me live here and ripping CDs. And this is pretty much what I do sometimes. So, yeah. Okay, so there's that. All right, so ripping face value. All right, so there's that. Gonna move this out of the way. And then back here, we have some more CDs, and there's some tucked away back there in there. There's that. Another edition of Heart's Greatest Hits, the Essential Alan Jackson, Richard Marx, Lisa Keys, Spice Girls, Moby, ZZ Top, and a Kenny Rogers CD back there. Got some Oasis. Santana. Classic Rock Gold. Bob Dylan's Greatest Hits. 38 Special. And I got a lot of stuff. I got probably quite a lot of CDs. So there's that. Like I said, there's some back there that I can't show you guys. But both of these drawers are completely full of compact discs. And yes, I keep them in a cool, dry place where you should actually keep them. God, I hate how this chair just really doesn't work too well on this rug. It just binds right up. So, so that CD is back in. That is now ripped. And now we can get out the Beatles 1. So there's the Beatles #1 hits disc. This one I got at the thrift store as well. I mean, it's got some scuffs and marks on it and what have you, but it still plays just fine. Not a big deal, not a big issue. So, all right, so there's that. Now we can rip that. And as you can see, there's no artwork. There's no artwork for the majority of the CDs that I have, you know, for Windows Media Player. There may be one for that REM Monster, and there won't be one for Double Live. There won't be one for that Phil Collins. There will be one for that Police, and maybe Alan Jackson. I don't know. But like I said, it's a hit and miss in Windows Media Player because not everything will show up as artwork. But like I said, as long as the metadata is correct and your files are properly tagged, it's not a big issue. I probably would get by without artwork, because artwork for me really is the last resort when you think about it. I've tried other software. Some take up SSD space for cache to cache the artwork and other stuff that goes with it. But Windows Media Player seems to keep the SSD space under, because it doesn't have to cache everything. But my hard drive space doesn't seem to be taking up too much, I don't think. But yeah. But as I was saying, look how fast Windows Media Player is ripping. I've tried iTunes. It's a hit and miss with iTunes as well, as far as how it rips. But look at Windows Media Player. It seems to be ripping very, very good. And look at that. That CD is done in under a minute. So, like I said, it's pretty interesting how CDs get ripped. Now watch this one have artwork with it. And yeah, watch this one have artwork. And this camera is a little bit yeah. This camera is a bit should I say, it likes to go out of focus once in a while. So, is this one going to have artwork? Is it going to show up? Let's find out. Let's find out if this has artwork. Boom, it does. So, we do have artwork on this REM Monster CD. But like I said, it's going to be a hit and miss for artwork. If you want to add artwork later to the CDs that don't have it, you could search some of the artwork up on Discogs and add it later if you want. I'm going to leave the rips as is, mainly because if I'm adding artwork, it's going to add it, but it's going to add it really weird wise. So it's going to add it for maybe a few files at least. It's not going to add it for every file, which is kind of the quirks of Windows Media Player these days, because you're still running something that's pretty old and it's pretty out of date, and it's not going to work as well as it used to. But it will work for CDs that do have artwork, and it will get every file just fine. But if you go back and add it for all of these, expect it to be added for every other file. It's not going to go back and add it for every file like you think it would. So just be mindful of that, because while Windows Media Player does work, it is a hit and miss for artwork. So expect it to not work 100%. Also, every once in a while, Windows Media Player will crash. And, you know, it's the only it's semi unstable at its age. So, if you're ripping and Windows Media Player just all of a sudden quits itself and it automatically closes out itself, it means it crashed. I haven't had that at all lately, but just be forewarned that even though Microsoft still offers Windows Media Player in Windows 11 and Windows 10, doesn't mean that it's going to work like how it used to in Windows 7. So it's going to have some quirks. That's what I'm saying. It's not going to be like, oh, it's going to be 100% like, oh, the software doesn't crash or whatever. Anything can crash. If Windows Media Player, the legacy version of Windows Media Player isn't fully up to date but is usable, it's going to have some crashes. It's going to have some issues, like any software would, being old code. There's probably something in there that makes it crash once in a while. But other than that, it still works. And you should be grateful that there is even a legacy media player in Windows at all. Because, even though it doesn't get updated on a regular basis, well, I'm pretty sure this version still gets updated. But it's not, I would say, it's not as like how it used to be. What Microsoft is going for now is the brand new media player that is in Windows 11 now. And believe it or not, it does rip. It does have a ripping function, but its ripping function is buggy, I would say the least. Because sometimes it will rip the last track, sometimes it won't rip the last track. It will just skip the last track entirely. I would say the new version of Media Player still has a ways to go before it becomes even more usable. So I can tell you from experience that if you're going to rip in the new media player, be prepared to be disappointed. Because unlike regular media player, I would say regular media player, it doesn't function the same way as the legacy media player. So I can rip a CD in this legacy media player all day long, and it will rip the full CD with no errors, or it won't skip any tracks or whatever. You use the new media player, you're going to skip some tracks. The last track won't rip, and you're going to wonder why. Well, this piece of crap doesn't work. Well, I don't think Microsoft realized when they added the rip feature in the latest version of Media Player, or should I say the Windows 11 version of Media Player, is that it isn't 100% accurate on, okay, it won't rip the last track. So if you're just sitting there like you get an error message, that's all over. You're pretty much you pretty much want to go back to using regular Windows Media Player for ripping. As you can see, I'm like halfway through disc 2 of Garth Brooks' Double Live, and like I said, there isn't artwork for, I don't know, about 90% of my CD collection, and only a certain amount does have artwork. So, and I think it's a licensing thing as well, that Grace Note can't license out artwork, like 100% of the artwork, to Microsoft or whatever. So you're kind of limited on what you can do as far as getting artwork. But again, it is a licensing thing, because you're hoping you get artwork for every CD, and sometimes it doesn't happen. So you just have to make sure that, keep in mind when you do use Windows Media Player, that you're not expecting what to expect as far as, oh, am I going to get artwork, or am I going to get, other stuff like that. So you're going to have to expect not to have artwork for every CD. So, oops. Gotta press the button. So, there we go. But it is kind of cool that I can rip in Windows Media Player still. Because, look how much I've done so far. And I will show you guys how much I've done so far. So there's that. And I can actually refresh this as well. And that will move it up 1. So there's all that. And then there's the times that I've actually ripped. So it's a timely process. It is actually a timely process, especially if you do a live streaming show like I do every week. And I will talk about that right now, actually. I actually stream on a site called CamUp. And there's the mug right there. So yeah, I got a nice mug. I won it. Well, actually, I didn't win it. I actually traded a gift card for a mug, and that's how I got the mug. And it's from the CamUp Christmas Spectacular. Speaking of CamUp, I'm going to plug that here in the video, or the live stream video. Boom. Okay, so all right, so I am live every week here on BG Radio Network. This is pretty much this is pretty much what I do every week. I do pretty good DJ live show every week on CamUp. If you're not doing anything, or if you're not busy, stop on by the show and listen to some of these tunes, I pretty much do my entire CD collection, and then once in a while I'll play some vinyl. But if I have the CDs in the computer, you can listen to some of this stuff every week, show wise, because it's a lot of fun. And I would highly recommend you guys to tune in, anyways, because it is fun and it is interesting. So you pretty much get that all in one shot. So there you go. That pretty much a plug, show wise. So there you go. And I also do my show on Mondays. If you and the thing is, if you don't have anything to do on Mondays, let's see here. All right, so if you don't have anything to do on a Monday, you can actually tune in to my show every Monday as well on Cam Up, which I do two streams on BGRN, and I do a Monday stream on I will say Cam Up as well. So there you go. But yeah, that's kind of really cool. So I'm just killing time here, and whoa, that's gonna leave a scratch. Not really, but let's see. I'm gonna grab another CD here, which is The Police. So there's that one. The Police. I'm going to throw that in, and I'm going to put that there. And we're going to bring up Windows Media Player. And there's that. That pops up. So we're going to bring up Windows Media Player, and yes, I'm using Windows Media Player. Some people will be like, why not use iTunes or PowerAmp DB or whatever, or Exact Audio Copy or Easy CD Audio Converter. Well, I've used CD or Easy CD Audio Converter before. I didn't like the folder structure. I've used the Sony Music Center for PC. While I like that, it uses too much GPU at one time. So I went back to good old Windows Media Player due to the fact that, yes, while it doesn't have all of the artwork, and as you can see, there's quite a few CDs or in my collection that doesn't have artwork. But like I said at the beginning of this, should I say, live stream, as long as your metadata is correct for the tracks and the album and artist and year and genre is concerned, you don't need to worry about artwork. So that's usually, like, if it bugs you so much, you could go out and find it, add it later if you really want to. For me, I'm not at all worried about it because I know I'm going to get the proper tagged stuff. And if it shows up here in Virtual DJ, the proper tagging is concerned, I don't care just as long as it shows up and I'm happy with it, it's all that matters. So like right here, ABBA Gold Greatest Hits. All the tracks are right there. And as you know, there is no artwork, which is okay. For a lot of this stuff, like if I click on something with artwork, it's not going to show up anyways because I have artwork turned off in Virtual DJ. Because a lot of times, if Windows Media Player goes out and finds the artwork, a lot of times if Windows Media Player goes out and finds the proper artwork, Virtual DJ won't. It will find something similar to it or find the wrong artwork, and it's just not good at all. So to get around this issue, I've disabled get artwork on the fly. So that's how that works for me. But if you're doing something, like that, and you don't want artwork in Windows, or you don't want artwork in Virtual DJ, you can turn that off. You can actually literally turn that off, and it's not a distraction. And I can't get this open. And I literally broke the case. I literally broke that. Nope, it just snapped. But yeah, like I said, it's something. If it bothers you and you use Virtual DJ, it's not a big deal. But like I said, artwork's not a big deal for me, like I said. And as long as all this is correct, it's not a big deal. So I'm just killing time here because I do have a show on BGRN, should I say, within the next 2 hours. So pretty much that. And if you guys are wondering, yes, there's all my vinyl, and then a lot of the stuff up there. Not bad, I would say. Well, there's only 2 people watching, so hello to the 2 viewers watching, whoever you are. Welcome to the live stream. I haven't even been on here for an hour yet. So, what you guys are watching is me ripping CDs because I'm bored. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to actually make it so my collection is, I would say, in FLAC, and there isn't many software out there that will do FLAC. I mean, Apple does ALAC, but Windows Media Player does FLAC. Windows Media Player also does ALAC. I'm going to show you guys that here in a minute. I'm not gonna press rip or anything, but I'll show you guys how many should I say, how many actual codecs and formats that Windows Media Player can do. It's surprising what it can do, and all that. But excuse-moi, there's no artwork for some of these CDs, like I was saying. So we're gonna go up right up here to RIP settings. So you have RIP disk or RIP CD, and you have RIP settings. Now, depending on what format you want, so if we go up here, you have Windows Media Audio, you have Windows Media Audio Pro, you have Windows Media Audio Variable Bit Rates, and Windows Media Audio Lossless. You have MP3, you have WAV, you have ALAC, which is the Apple Lossless Audio Codec, and then you have FLAC, the Free Lossless Audio Codec. So I have it set on FLAC right now, which is preferable if you want to rip in FLAC. So there's that. Let's see, you can eject after ripping or rip CD automatically. You can leave rip CD automatically unticked. Audio quality. So for FLAC, for audio quality, that is grayed out. It's 470 to 940 kilobytes per second lossless. So it does do I would say a reasonably good job at ripping in FLAC. Some software can do 470 to 950. Some can do 470 to 940. It all depends on what version of the container which software has. So this one does 940, but can go up to 1,000 kilobytes per second. For some tracks, if it's loud enough, you could get by with that. But again, your ripping will vary depending on the type of codec and container it has. So we can now start rip, and it's going to go through once the drive revs up here. So that's ripped. Track 1 is now ripped. So down here, it will show your ripping tracks remaining, which is very handy. Now, the nice thing about this Windows Media Player as well is if it finds an error on the CD, it will put either a rip failed or a black or a white X with in a red circle. So means that the track has failed to rip. So I've only had maybe one CD, maybe two CDs that had that problem. But other than that, Windows Media Player, I would say, has been very reliable since I've used it so many times. It is very reliable. I've used it back in the Windows 7 days for CD ripping, but even that's not bad compared to what I can do now as far as ripping goes. All right, so now that we're getting to, let's just say, some Alan Jackson here. Here's the CD called Everything I Love. It's not a bad CD. I mean, it's got some scuffs on it, which doesn't affect rip or playback, believe it or not. We could throw that in. And I'm going to wait for it to actually, notification-wise. There we go. And now we can go ahead and see if this one has artwork, and it might not, but we'll find out. So far, it doesn't look like it does. But that could change as the drive revs up, because sometimes the artwork is delayed on some CDs. So, as we rip. Okay, so I was right. It don't have artwork, so that's not a big deal. But like I said, sometimes it's delayed. The moment you start rip, it will think about it a few seconds, and then it will pop up usually. So other times there won't be artwork, but you can go out on a particular site and find it, and it'll be like, I would say, Discogs. You can find it. So yeah, you can kind of hear the drive at work here as it rips. All right, so all right, so if I had iTunes, FLAC will not work in iTunes. You have to like convert it over to ALAC or something. But if I were to convert it over to ALAC and then grab artwork for these, it would be quite interesting. But since I'm not going to get into that, I rather leave them as FLAC, because it's a lot easier for me to just leave them as one format and not go to another. So yeah. Okay, so there's that. All right, so we got Ugly Kid Joe. All right, so we got Ugly Kid Joe's America's Least Wanted. Pretty good CD, I would say. There's only a couple of tracks on it that I do like, but I still rip the full CD anyways. Because, there might be a day, like when I do a show, there might be a day when actually I want to play more tracks, I guess, more or less the tracks that don't get played. So there's quite a few tracks that do get played. Cats in the Cradle gets played a lot on my show. Everything About You gets played a lot on my show. Neighbor doesn't get played that much. I probably want to play that a little bit more. So, yeah, I do want to play that a little bit more, the song Neighbor. But yeah, it's... All right, so this one says 1991, but when it's done ripping, it will say 1992. So that's how these things work. Wow, it's already 3:11. So I'm probably going to start wrapping this up. I just wanted to show you guys the progress I go through when I rip CDs, and you know, it's a process. It's a timely process, but in the end, it is worth it because you have a lot of stuff that gets ripped as well. But anyways, that's gonna do it for me. I got a show to get ready for. I know I'm only an hour. I should say from now I'm probably gonna be about an hour away from a showtime. So I got to get myself time ready to get ready and then fire things up and be ready on cam up. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to do this. So there's that. So I'm getting myself ready to go, and yeah, have a good afternoon and evening, everybody. And if you're not doing anything after this processes, and if you guys want to pause that and type that link in your address bar, feel free. Go on ahead and head on over. CamUp does need more users and more casters. If you guys are willing to come on over and support CamUp in any way, feel free to do so, because it's an awesome site. We all enjoy each other's time and hang out and all that cool stuff. So it makes for an awesome fun time and stuff like that. And if you're new to CamUp, stop on by and say hi, and make sure to say hi to yours truly, DJ Aaron, and enjoy some tunes as well. So anyways, that is going to do it for me, and practice and enjoy.